Happiness through curiosity on the Ranveer show. Welcome to TRS Clips. You look gorgeous, by the way, as in like your skin, all that, dude. You look so much younger than like 48. Like, I don't know if the camera catches it, but
Depends
you look
if you've
like
got a soft lens.
but you look like about like 35, 34.
Thank you.
You know, it's crazy. Wow.
I've got so I do it like my goal now is not so much like trying to pack on size. It is at this moment because I've got a project for next year. But my goal now is just longevity. And that's what I try to do with my clients.
What does that mean?
So increase my health span. You know, I think as we get a little bit older, we get a bit wiser. We face mortality and we realize, okay, I want to be here longer. And it helps if you've got a partner that's like 15 years younger than you as well. So, okay, I got to be around here. So, you know, I really focus on everything that I do because I know bodybuilding or, you know, extreme athleticism, because I participate in quite a few different sports, causes a lot of inflammation. It can cause aging, even though we look good, we've got abs. We don't know what's really going on in the inside. And if you're overtraining, you're training really hard, it can shorten your lifespan. So I focus on everything that I can. And same with my clients, like with meditation, managing stress, making sure that the food that you're eating is very clean, it's non-inflammatory. Same with supplements, going to bed really early, blocking artificial blue light with blue light blocking glasses, grounding myself, taking my shoes and socks off and going down to the beach, being open with nature. You know, things like that is very, very important. And I think there's a lot that we can learn from ancestral wisdom and combining it with today's technology and biohacking. So that's my goal. So I have my biological age tested every single year. And I've been able to reduce it now for the past 7 years. So my biological age now is 26.
Wow.
When I started, it was 2 years older than my actual chronological age. So I've been able to reverse that process every year.
How do you even like measure the biological age? Is it like
There's
a body test?
There's various ways that you can test it. Yeah, through blood and saliva. So there's one is called like a methylation test. Then there's another one called a glycan age test. You have glycans in your body. And you have this mitochondria, you know, which is your energy furnace that provides every cell in your body energy.
What's the glycan? Like,
Glycans. So you have glycans in your body that can dictate your chronological age. Same, and there's another one. It's called telomeres. So think of like telomeres as like, you know, this is the popular analogy. Think of your shoelace, and then over the years, sometimes it starts to fray and then get shorter and shorter. That's what happens with your telomeres in your body. And they use that measurement to dictate your biological age, because if that frays more and more, they've been able to see that that is part of the aging process. So you're trying to prevent that or possibly reverse that.
how do you reverse it? Like you said that you've been able to do it for 6 or 7 years. I'm assuming that sleep is something you're focusing on.
Massive.
And what else?
That's why I go to bed at 7:30 in the evening and don't mingle with many people. So for a couple of hours before bed, I'll block out all artificial blue light with red lens, blue light blocking glasses, because you know, you think of our ancestors, they'd go to bed with campfire or candlelight, and then they'd go to bed. Now we have screens, we have artificial light bulbs that's emitting blue light. We have computer, we have phone, we have TV, cinema, that's keeping us awake. That raises our cortisol levels when our melatonin should be released. If cortisol is high, we cannot release melatonin, we can't lull ourselves to sleep. And sleep has been shown as like the biggest dictator for longevity. You know, if we're not recovering, we're not performing, not only from a physical aspect, but from a life aspect. I'll make sure that I ground myself every day. So, you know, I do wear earthing shoes, so they actually earth with the ground, if that makes sense. Or, you know, whenever possible, take your shoes and socks off, because now, you know, we're exposed to so many EMFs, satellite signals, dirty electricity. It's very important that whatever penetrates us actually passes through us, so we can absorb the negative ions from the earth. So, you know, like the fanny pack that I've got there, that is an EMF blocking fanny pack. And I have an EMF blocking phone case. And in my hotel room, I've got like an EMF pollutant scrambler, because obviously I'm exposed to a lot of EMF in a hotel. So, you know, I even have the clothing that I'll wear that blocks EMFs when I'm on planes and stuff like that, because I'm so exposed. And whenever possible, I'm eating humane raised, organic, grass-fed, wild caught, because the majority of the antibiotics that we consume today is not through pharmaceuticals. It's what the food is eating, the antibiotics that the fish are fed, especially in a factory farmed senses. And some of the more extreme biohacks that I've done is like stem cells. I've had stem cells. I've flown overseas to get stem cells on a couple of occasions now, because as we get a little bit older, our stem cells decrease, and that is what allows our body to recover, especially from a physical standpoint as well, through connective tissue, cartilage, hair, eyes, skin.
How expensive was it?
It was quite expensive, but it was less than half the price that I'd get in the US, and it's more efficacious when you go to places like Mexico, Panama, Colombia, because they are allowed to harvest the stem cells over, say, a 2-week period. They can't do that by law somewhere in the US. So you get much more stem cells, but much cheaper. But it cost $20,000 for me to have that done, But I had that done primarily for injuries, but it can prevent the onset of aging as well. Like I was snowboarding a year and a half ago, and I tore 68% of my tricep off the bone.
What the bro?
Yeah, so I had to have that reattached. The surgery was more painful than the actual than me tearing it. I tore it. I knew immediately it'd come off. I could feel it just hanging there. But I've had so many injuries since I was a kid. I was like, well, there's nothing I can do about it. And it was on Valentine's Day. So I was like, well, I'm not going to go to the hospital now. I booked a table, and they had bone marrow there, and I love bone marrow. So I went to the hotel, and I got, the string that you get from the robe, and strapped my arm straight, and we went out and had dinner. And that was okay. It was just the next, when I had to have surgery, because I had to drill through the femur and the humerus to reattach the tendons. That was a little bit gnarly. So I went and had stem cells after to help with the healing.
What does it feel like?
It just hangs off. It's just soft. And I've torn it a couple of times internally since then, not in the gym. I never tear things in the gym. It's always outside because I do extreme stuff. But like I feel it bleeding inside. You can actually, it's weird. You always look down. You're like, there should be blood there, because like you can feel it trickling down, but it's not. There's nothing there because it's bleeding internally. It's bizarre. Like I was at Hrithik's gym the other day, and the toilet lid was kind of loose, and it like almost fell off. So I went to grab it, and I felt it pull. Then it's always things like that. It's nothing heroic. It's always things like that. I'm like, jeez. I felt my tricep go again, yeah.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you check out the entire episode, and also check out this playlist that we've curated just for you.